Welcome back, everybody. I'm so excited to have you back for another round of See It, a show about movies and stuff. I am your host, Brian Williams of Brian Knows Movies. I love doing these things. I'm having a lot of fun. I'm trying to improve my background and my setup. Hope that you appreciate it. Get better lights, get better just better stuff to be able to give you a good show. It's been a pretty slow week in terms of news, but I do want to go over a couple of things with you that I found interesting there. And also, as we finishing off Black History Month, I want to talk about some of my favorite performances by Black actors and actresses. But let's go ahead and just jump into it. So this past weekend, we had a really exciting award season. We had some really, sorry, excuse me, having some technical difficulties here. Sorry, I know we just had somebody join. I'm sorry, I'm having an issue with my feed. I'm going to try to troubleshoot this live since it's just us right now. I'm sorry about that, but if I can't get it going, I'll just have to just go off the cuff. Let's see. Stream directly through YouTube. I have an application that helps me do all these cool graphics that you see here, and I didn't update it because I'm an idiot. Sometimes I was trying to rush and it crashed on me. So, moral of the story: update your applications on your computer, especially when you're trying to stream to thousands and millions and whoever might get this eventually. But I'm very happy still to be here. I'm very. We had a couple of people, a couple of questions about Ant Man. Yes, I did see Ant Man. I'm gonna talk about Ant Man here in just a second. But Ant Man might be still in some trouble. Might be. This is from Skills from New Orleans. But anyway, thanks again for joining me. For those who are joining me, as you come into the chat or the live stream, feel free to ask any questions about the topics at hand, or if there's anything about movies, current stuff, or in the past you want to talk. I'm pretty loose. Let's play some jazz here and improvise when it makes sense. So. But I do. This was a pretty slow movie week in terms of news, but there are a couple of things I think that are worth mentioning, and we're going to jump right into that. And the first is award season. We just had two major award shows this weekend. We had the NAACP Image Awards as well as the Screen Actor Guild Awards. These are the NAACP awards are a little different. They're handed out by the organization of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People that was founded back in the early 1900s, I think 1908. And the NAACP Image Awards was founded specifically to recognize talent across multiple platforms: music, television, movies, so on and so forth, where African Americans specifically, but minorities as a whole, were not seeing themselves either represented in award shows or represented correctly by Hollywood or fairly. And so they made their own award show to try to give recognition to those talented artists as they saw fit. Now, that's not the reason why this is different though than most award shows. It's different because the NAACP awards are voted on by the membership. So you can be a member of the NAACP and vote, and then also they allow online voting from fans. So it reminds me a lot more of the People Choice Awards as opposed to having like a governing body of artists that are making these choices. And so it's a populist type of thing in terms of the awards. There were some key wins that I want to talk about with NAACP awards that happened this Saturday. We had Viola Davis win for The Woman King as the Best Actress for Woman King. Angela Bassett won Best Supporting Actress for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Tanakh Hurdo won for Black Panther Wakanda Forever for his role as Namor. He was the Best Supporting Actor. And then Will Smith for Emancipation. He wins Best Actor in a Motion Picture, beating out Joshua Bonet from A Jazzman's Blues, Sterling K. Brown from Honk for Jesus Save Your Soul, Daniel Kaluuya for Nope, and Jonathan Majors for Devotion. And based off of the nominees, I kind of agree with that. I think that Sterling K. Brown could have made a case as well for Honk for Jesus Save Your Soul. I didn't really like that film as a whole, but I love the performances in it. And he was very strong in that. But Will Smith in Emancipation was the real deal. I thought it was a better showing from him than King Richard. Probably Ali was the last time he was this good in a film, in my opinion, where he kind of disappears into the role. And it's not just like Will Smith playing Will Smith. I think that it's deserved. But what this tells me more than anything is that Will Smith has, at least with the audience that votes for the NAACP Image Awards, has done a good job in replenishing his image and sanitizing his image to the point to where they are not afraid to nominate him, but also award him with a prize. Now, he was not on hand to accept, but he did have a speech prepared where he talked about the grueling difficulty of playing this character, Whoop Peter, and how he kind of lost himself. He talked about this a little bit in his appearance on Red Table Talk as well, where he really, I mean, I can understand how this would have been a very difficult role to play. So, congratulations to him. We'll see if he starts to get any love from the other major, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts. Of course, is the big kahuna, but, BAFTAs and things of that nature. Will that happen? Also, I want to correct myself. When I did my Emancipation review, I talked about how this was kind of weird that he was picking this movie to come back on, and maybe this should have been a year out from this year. But I didn't know if they were trying to shoot this and then the pandemic hit. So this should have been a film that came out maybe even before King Richard, and this could have been a really interesting case if this came out earlier. And Emancipation, as it stands, could have been like his Tom Hanks run, where he gets nominated for Best Actor 2 years in a row, and possibly win Best Actor 2 years in a row. I don't know if Emancipation was in a top 5 performance for me. I think that the nominees are pretty strong in the Best Actor category for the Academy Awards. But hey, who knows? Who knows if he would have been able to edge somebody else out based off of his campaigning or the studio's campaigning for that film. But yeah, it was supposed to come out a while ago, and it got delayed because of COVID, so that's why it shot so late. But they did a decent job with that film. But his performance, one of the best performances of his career, so congratulations to him. I missed the NAACP Image Awards because it was my daughter's birthday party. We were having a lot of fun here at the house to celebrate my 2-year-old while the show was going on. But the NAACP Image Awards is always a great time. They're so lax in terms of people just really being able to let their guard down, let their hair down in this award show. Similar to the Screen Actor Guild Award, I think that the SAG Awards is a lot of fun. The actors have fun with it. There's a lot of jokes. I feel like it's a much more natural crowd than you get at the Golden Globes or even the Academy Awards. People are not taking it as seriously. And it's an award show where actors are giving acting awards to their peers. Now, the SAG Awards does have some credibility in terms of, well, it has credibility in period, because the Screen Actors Guild is all the people who voted on that are in the profession and they know what acting is. So I'm not trying to downplay the award show or the awards, but it plays into the big kahuna, which is the Academy Awards. They tend to be a little predictive in terms of who wins different awards at the Academy, because the Screen Actor Guild, those actors, so many actors have votes for Academy Awards. So this is a big voting block, and it was interesting to see that Everything Everywhere All at Once cleaned up everything. They had the best ensemble. They won best actress, best supporting actress, and best supporting actor. They almost swept all the awards. The only thing they didn't win was best actor. Let's go through those awards real quick. We have uh, they won Cast in a Motion Picture for Everything Everywhere All at Once. You saw them up there giving an amazing speech and giving flowers to the cast. We saw Brendan Fraser come in and win Best Actor for The Whale. Michelle Yeoh won another award for Best Actress, Best Female Actor, in this case for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Jamie Lee Curtis, I think this might be her first win of the season, winning for Everything Everywhere All at Once for Best Female Actor in a Supporting Role. And then Ke Huy Quan, he once again continues to dominate these awards for Everything Everywhere All at Once. So that's going to play into Oscars. Oscars are in 2 weeks. So I'm not ready to make all my predictions just yet. Next week, next Tuesday, I will be, though. I will be giving you my predictions for all the major awards. I have a few more things to watch to really solidify my points. I'll even try to go to some of the minor awards if I've seen enough of the if I've seen enough of the movies and films and things like that. For example, I'm missing some of the documentaries for best documentary, but I'm hoping I can catch the rest of those and give you my opinion on that. But I'll definitely do. I can promise you I'm gonna do best actor, best actress, best supporting actor, best supporting actress, best director, producer, best picture, of course. I'll do best animated feature. I will do screenplay awards, score, all those things. I know, I've heard and I've been able to experience most of those things. So the shorts are what I'm trying to get to in some of the documentaries. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Moving on. What's up with Ant-Man? So there's probably a little bit of a hyperbole because Ant-Man is #1 again for the second weekend in a row. It beat out Cocaine Bear and Jesus Revolution, which were the two new releases for this previous weekend, the 25th through the 24th through the 26th, or whatever the weekend was. And that's great news. But everybody's harping on Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania losing so many. Everybody's harping on Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania for dropping so far based off of their first week. First week they got 120 million domestic. This week they were 31.9 million domestic. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania has achieved over 300 million worldwide. I thought that the film needs to get 300 million domestically to be considered a success. If they're trying to shoot for 500 million worldwide box office for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania to consider it a success. Will it get there? I don't know. So this weekend's drop-off really hurts because I think that it would have performed better if it wasn't for this huge snowstorm that hit most of the country. That's the concern, and why a lot of people just use the winter months as the dump months, because weather can affect your outcomes of your film no matter how good or bad or popular that film is. And the weather was really bad. Where I was, there was like these ice storms where the streets were terrible. There was a wreck every 5 minutes, it seemed like. People didn't want to go out. I didn't go out. So that affected the box office. Not enough people are talking about how the weather impacted box office this weekend. They're more talking about the reviews, both from critics and audiences. There's not people going back to re-see the film. There's not enough newcomers to the film. And I think that some of that is legitimate concerns, but also the weather affected this as well. So the issue that Ant-Man and the Wasp faces domestically now is that it has to go up against a Titan in Creed 3, which comes out this weekend. I saw Creed 3 last weekend in a screener. Amazing film. I'm going to have my review out probably sometime tomorrow or early Thursday morning. Spoiler alert, it is the first great film of the year. I feel like I know I gave The Outwaters 4.5 stars, but it was really more because of the experimental things and the boldness of that film. This is the best put together film, best acted, best directed film of 2023 so far, and the quality of this film is going to carry it pretty far as well. So it's going to have to go up against Creed 3, and then also a film that is going to take away from Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania audiences is there is a new Demon Slayer movie coming out. The Village of Swords or something like that. I'm sorry, I don't have the name of the new Demon Slayer movie coming out, but I'm going to go see Demon Slayer because I'm a huge Demon Slayer fan, right? And there is an audience that is built in for anime that crosses over, I believe, with these types of superhero films. So that's going to steal some people. So that film's going to steal some people. I also think that Operation Fortune with Aubrey Plaza. Aubrey Plaza is red hot because of her TV show. Why am I blanking on the name of that show? I don't watch it, to be honest with you. But I know that her TV show has really got her in a place to where I think that's why they're releasing it now, because she is so hot. Jason Statham is also in that movie. Jason Statham is a consistent draw. She is in White Lotus. White Lotus. Lord, why can't I remember White Lotus? Emily the Criminal was great this past summer. The White Lotus is winning all types of awards, and it's a very popular show. I'll get a chance to watch many series because I'm watching so many films, but I hear great things about that. So you have those three films that are going to be competing against Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania this week. So I would imagine at 31.9 million, it's going to drop. I would actually imagine Ant-Man is going to be number 2 in the box office this weekend, with Creed 3 being number 1, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania being number 2, and then we're going to probably see Cocaine Bear. No, Cocaine Bear is going to drop. I'm going to say Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania number 2. I'm going to say, yeah, Cocaine Bear number 3, Operation Fortune number 4, Jesus Revolution, and then the Demon Slayer film. It's gonna be those are gonna be the top 5 in some sort of mix. I think we're finally going to see Puss in Boots and the Avatar just kind of falls by the wayside in terms of being in that top 5, just because there's just not enough screens for them to be on to really continue to do what they're doing. However, there still isn't any kids movies out, so Puss in Boots might stay there. I don't know. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, I wanted to do well. I love this film. I like this film a lot. I think I am getting to the point where I'm like kind of like F you to people who don't like it, and so I like it even more because people are, I don't want to say hating on it, but they have a different opinion of me, and I'm a little sensitive. What can I say? But it's out there. Let me know what you think about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Are you planning to go rewatch it to help it get back into just to keep its box office going? There goes 500 million. Will they get there? I think they will, but it's going to take a while. It's not going to be like what Avatar obviously did. We're at the end of Black History Month. My series, Brian Knows Black Film, is coming to an end as well. I've had a lot of fun just researching black films, both from my catalog, my memories, so on and so forth, but also reading up on some of the best performances, catching up on films I haven't seen, rewatching films that I missed, and I really had a lot of fun. Of course, Black history is American history, or it's world history, so it's not like I'm not going to talk about black creators anytime ever again until next Black History Month. No, they'll continue to be topics for shorts and for videos and for live streams, but this is going to be the end of the Brian Knows Black film series. And basically, what I want to do is I want to highlight some performances by some of my favorite Black actors and actresses of films that you may not have seen. I'm thinking about this in a specific way. I'm thinking about movies that are fairly old. There are some new movies on here, but most of them are fairly old and probably blind spots for younger millennials and Gen Z. My older millennials, my Gen Xers, you've probably seen some of these films, but there's going to be some films on there that hopefully I'm introducing you to. So, Angela Bassett, she won every award known to man. It seems like at the NAACP Image Awards, she's been seems to be having the time of her life in terms of what she's doing, celebrating her performance of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. So I did want to introduce some films that if you liked Angela Bassett in that and Wakanda Forever, here are some films that you may not have heard of. What's Love Got to Do with It? You have to have heard of What's Love Got to Do with It. At least that's what I think. But it is a mid-90s movie. I think it came out in 94. And this is the film where Angela Bassett was nominated for Best Actress for her portrayal of Tina Turner. And Lawrence Fishburne was nominated for Best Actor for his turn as Ike Turner. These are both the first Oscar nominations for both of those actors. There's also, I think it was nominated for Adapted Screenplay. I forgot to look that up, but it was nominated for something else as well. Amazing film. I feel like if you are going to do a piece where you're basically doing a biopic, you have to disappear into that role. One of my issues I had with I Want to Dance with Somebody as opposed to something like What's Love Got to Do with It, it seemed like that actress was really doing more of a impersonation as opposed to a discovery of that role and that character. And that's just the most recent one that comes to mind, but there's others that just don't land for me because it feels more like it's in the George Foreman movie. It kind of feels like that, but we'll see when the George Foreman movie comes out. Anyway, Angela Bassett, amazing in What's Love Got to Do with It. Check it out. I'm sure you can rent it from Amazon Prime, and it's probably free on HBO right now. There is this film from I think it came out in 98, 99, called Strange Days, and it has Ralph Fiennes and the crazy character actor Tom Sizemore, who you probably know from Heat and Saving Private Ryan and a few other things. And it is directed by Kathryn Bigelow, the Oscar award-winning Kathryn Bigelow, and written by James Cameron, who was the writer-director of some little films you know, like Titanic and True Lies and Avatar The Way of Water, and Terminator 2 and Terminator, and go on and go on forth. So this is a pairing of leadership in the film unlike no other. And Angela Bassett and Ralph Fiennes and Tom Sizemore and others are really fun in this. It's a really weird, almost coked out sci-fi thriller. And Angela Bassett plays like this, not bouncer, but like a bodyguard slash like driver. And it's a really interesting performance. This movie is really way out there. It doesn't hold together all the way, but yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's one of those really deep cuts for Angela Bassett that if you haven't seen it, I promise I think it's like an hour and a half. It's a really quick movie. Check it out. There's a message coming in from the bestest. You are the bestest. Hey, love, your enthusiasm. Will this all be recorded? I have to run now. Yes, this is going to be on my YouTube channel. I'm going to try to edit it and get a better version out, but the raw version is going to be immediately available on my YouTube channel at Brian Knows Movies. If you go there, you'll be able to skip around. I had some technical difficulties in the beginning, so just skip that first part and get right into where I start talking about the NAACP Image Awards. But thanks for joining me, the bestest, and please subscribe if you have not subscribed. I had to mention what's love got to do with it because I just don't know how many people have seen it as opposed to how good this film is. But Strange Days is where it's at. Check it out. I also have a short out about Angela Bassett right now that I have five other films I talk about. I talk about what's love got to do with it there too, but there's like the Secret Life of Bees. I talk not Secret Life of Bees, but the Spelling Bee movie with Kiki Palmer. Keelan and the Bee. I'm sorry, Keelan and the Bee, and a few other films on there for you too. So of course we're gonna have to talk about Denzel or Denzel, as it's known. Denzel Washington. Let's get this out the way. His best performance to me still is as Malcolm X. Once again, disappearing into a role and you actually believe that he's Malcolm X. He played Malcolm X on Broadway as well before the filming of Malcolm X with Spike Lee. He had played him previously, so he spent a lot of time with his autobiography. He spent a lot of time with that character, and he nailed it. And that should have been his first Best Actor win, but these things don't always fall the way they should. But I didn't put that on here. I didn't put Training Day on here. I didn't put American Gangster on here because I feel like those are his most popular films. I want to talk about some films that you may not have seen. Man on Fire, to me, is the best film out of all of his gritty action type of movies. I think Man on Fire is, and there's a lot of really good ones. I think it's better than the Book of Eli, which I enjoyed thoroughly, probably more than most. It's better than The Equalizer, which kind of came out of nowhere. That was like his Liam Neeson take on these types of films. It's better than Train. I think that Man on Fire is better than Training Day. I think Man on Fire is better than Out of Time. I think it's better than you name any of those kind of like gritty action movies that he's done in the 2000s. And Man on Fire is better than that. He's just so good as this person who's ready to give it all up, and then he meets uh, uh, his character Creasy meets the young lady played by Dakota Fanning. Their chemistry is amazing. You can tell that he's kind of teaching her how to act, and also kind of wowed by this little girl being able to do what she does in this film. Their chemistry is amazing, and then she gets kidnapped, and then the rampage that he goes on, you really feel like Denzel will come and kill you if you mess with the people that he loves. Man on Fire is amazing. It's probably one of his more popular movies too, so you've probably seen it. But trust me, this is where you want to be. A film that I'm sure nobody's seen because it's on Apple TV. It only had a small runtime of maybe a week in theaters. He was nominated for Oscar for Best Actor for this. This is the same year that King Richard won. Will Smith won for King Richard. I think Tragedy of Macbeth was a better performance. I'm sorry, maybe I'm just a sucker for Shakespeare. Maybe I'm just a sucker for Denzel doing Shakespeare, but he is amazing. I appreciate the cast blind, um, the race blind casting in this because everybody else in this film, for the most part, I believe, are white, except for there is another character in here that's black as well. But the same guy that was from In the Heights, the black guy from In the Heights. I can't think of his name. I should be more prepared. I'm sorry, but yeah, amazing performance. If you don't even like Shakespeare like that, check this out. Throw on the subtitles on Apple TV if you need to, and watch a master at work. Frances McDormand is also great as his wife and the Queen in this film too, but where Denzel goes in terms of his paranoia, uh, the Furies giving him this prediction, and him basically causing his fate because he thinks he's his paranoia just gets out of. You've never read Macbeth. I'm not gonna give it away. If you've never seen a Macbeth, I'm not gonna give it away. But check out the Tragedy of Macbeth. Obviously, Denzel's been in 5,000 movies, so you can really pick any of them, and most of them are going to be good. But check out the Tragedy of Macbeth. I think that's the most recent film I have on here. Whoopi Goldberg doesn't work as much as she used to. My introduction to Whoopi Goldberg was actually not film and not comedy. My introduction to Whoopi Goldberg was Star Trek: The Next Generation. I am a huge Trekkie. If you ever seen any of my videos, you see my starships in the background. She was Guinan, who was the bartender on 10 Forward, but she was also this wise woman or being that had lived millennia, and just a really cool character that was on the set of Star Trek: The Next Generation. They just had a reunion recently surrounding the Picard season 3, and they all came on her show, her daily talk show. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. The next thing I saw her in was Sister Act, and Sister Act 2, and then Sister Act 1. Really fun films. I don't care what people say about Sister Act 2. I know it has like 5% of Rotten Tomatoes. Those people do not know what they're talking about. Both of these movies are immensely quotable. They're fun. They're rewatchable. They're funny. Uh, there was all the memes for, going after Cheryl Lee Ralph, and that was because of Sister Act 2. She told her daughter that singing is not going to get you anywhere, and here she is singing at the Super Bowl. Anyway, Sister Act 2, amazing fun. Again, early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. I don't know if young millennials or Gen Z have seen it. Check it out, especially Sister Act 2. I think that one is much more relatable. But the first Sister Act is fun too. The Color Purple should have gotten Whoopi Goldberg her first Oscar. They made up for the mistake of not getting her the Oscar that year for giving her a supporting Oscar for Ghost, which is one of the reasons why she's an EGOT. She has EGOT status now. But amazing performance of Celie. This movie is heart wrenching and funny, and it's a ball of emotions. I'll tell you that. Steven Spielberg directs it. He's even mentioned it probably would have been even better if it was in the hands of a black director. And this is still one of the best films of the 80s, maybe one of the best films of the 20th century, The Color Purple. I wish she would do more. I know she was in, she was doing that TV series, The Stand. I don't know if The Stand got canceled. I couldn't really get into it, but I want to see her in more films. Oh, she was great in Till as the grandmother. She was great in Till too. Okay, I'm moving on. Whoopi's great. She's a great actress. Needs to get more work. If she wants it, I'm sure she could have it, but I would love to see her in more things. Lawrence Fishburne. Oh, Larry Fishburne, as he used to be known. There's a couple of films. Everybody knows him from The Matrix. Everybody probably knows him from Blackish. I'm assuming people have seen Boys in the Hood, and they know him from Boys in the Hood. So here are two films that I think you should check out. School Days. One of Spike Lee's joints from the 80s. I think I'm pretty sure School Days came out before Do the Right Thing. It might have been the film before Do the Right Thing. I think it was She's Gotta Have It, and then School Days, and then Do the Right Thing. I feel like I'm missing one in between that. It wasn't Jungle Fever. Jungle Fever came out in the 90s. Anyway, you see I'm going on tangents trying to think about films I've seen. School Days is a story that mirrors Spike Lee's experience at Howard. It's a story about undergraduates at this historically black college and university who are involved in student life. There's Greek life, there is this activism and this push to divest from South Africa, which was really big in that time. It's a commentary on colorism. The colorism stuff probably didn't age as well as he thought it would, because we've moved past a lot of that stuff, at least a lot of that thinking at this point. And but the colorism still exists, but the way that it's tackled in this film is a little antiquated, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But the as a person who I used to work on a college campus. I used to advise a Black Student Union. The activism portions, the Greek portions. I'm a part of a historically Black Greek organization myself. I can't tell you how much fun this film is, and how insightful this film is, and prophetic this film is about some things. Spike Lee was in his bag for a long time in the 80s and 90s before he gave us a stinker. His first stinger is probably, I don't even know what his first stinger is. She Hate Me? Would She Hate Me be his first stinker? I don't know. Anyway, School Days is great. School Days is not a stinker. School Days is one of his best. If you like Spike Lee, but you haven't gone that far down his filmography, check out School Days. And Lawrence Fishburne is incredible in it. He's also incredible in Tuskegee Airmen, which was a HBO TV movie, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it never came out in the theaters, and so it should be on HBO Max now. And it's a film about this regiment of black airmen during World War II, the Tuskegee Airmen. There was a film that George Lucas came out maybe 15 years after Tuskegee Airmen called Red Tails, and I beat Red Tails up so bad because I felt like it just was not good compared to the OG Tuskegee Airmen. I'm like, if you're not gonna outdo Tuskegee Airmen, just don't do it. The Tuskegee Airmen looks better. It's better written. It's better acted. The score is better. It's a smaller film, and it's still just better in every way possible. Lawrence Fishburne is a big part of that. Cuba Gooding Jr. is in this film as well. My man from the Tyler Perry Show. He was in man, I can't think of his name, but there's a lot of actors you would recognize in this film. Angela Bassett's husband's in there. I'm doing really bad with names today. What's wrong with me? Anyway, School Days, Tuskegee Airmen are two films by a great actor that you'll want to check out. Let's talk about Halle Berry. I think that if I was to let me start off by saying that I love Halle Berry for many different reasons. I think that her performance in introducing Dorothy Dandridge, I think introducing Dorothy Dandridge came out in '96. Let me see. 99. So I was 14 at the time when this film came out. And my understanding of film at that point was very gender specific in terms of all the heroes, all the great roles being played by men. I wasn't really seeing, especially black women in lead roles such as this, being able to do their thing. Excuse me, I'm sorry. But yeah, introducing Dorothy Dandridge is her best performance. I've seen it recently. It's the best performance she's ever had. It's better than her performance in Monsters Ball. It's better than her performance in Losing Isaiah and all these other films. She's really good in introducing Dorothy Dandridge. I feel like if the way the Academy was set up back was the way it was set up today, was set up back then, she would have definitely been nominated for an Oscar. And she would have probably won. That's how good I think that performance was in 1999. I think Monster Ball was 2001, so it wouldn't be too much longer before she got her first Oscar. But introducing Dorothy Dandridge is the tragic story of Dorothy Dandridge, who was a phenomenal actress in the 1940s and 50s who could not get roles because she was a black woman. Nothing was written for black women. America was so racist. People keep talking about how we've moved past it, and some of it we have. But America was so racist. The idea of a black woman being able to be in a film as a love interest or a femme fatale or whatever you want to call it, opposite of a white man, was just uncalled of, unheard of. There was this fear of interracial love. There was a bigger fear of interracial sex, if I can just be candid about it. And you did not see racist mingling or co-mingling on screen or even off screen. I mean, there's a story about how Sammy Davis Jr. had to have a fake marriage to a performer in Las Vegas just so that he could be married, so he can cover up a relationship he had with a white woman, right? Because he was afraid of being heard by the mob, I want to say. So it's really confusing it's really confusing to think that would be an issue. But Halle Berry, Dorothy Dandridge's career was definitely hurt because of that. She was one of the best actresses out there. She was the first a black actress nominated for a Best Actress and for the Academy Award for Carmen Jones, and she just could not get any roles. She had issues with substance abuse and painkillers and some other things, drinking, that really kind of derailed her career as well. But those were all after depression and things set in because of the racism that she faced. So, if you want to see a really like an acting class, it has to be Introducing Dorothy Dandridge by Halle Berry. Now, Halle Berry has a very similar trajectory as Dorothy Dandridge to me. Like after she won her Oscar for Monsters Ball, the types of roles she should have been offered should have been different than what she got. She was either typecast into the super melodramatic, almost Hallmark type of movies, or just these really, really bad films. She was in Catwoman, and Catwoman really stunk up her career because it was so bad. You know, she got the Razzie for it. It's her famous speech. I think this pissed a lot of people off too. She brought her Oscar to the Razzies when she accepted her Razzie for Catwoman. Um, but she's talked about this too, like how roles just didn't come to her. Now, one role that did come to her and she knocked it out the park alongside Benicio del Toro was Things We Lost in the Fire. This is a very small film. Halle Berry plays this widow who recently lost her husband and is hurting, trying to raise these two kids, and ends up reaching out or connecting with her husband's best friend who's a drug addict. And they kind of join forces to teach each other how to heal and how to get over the tragedies of their life. And it's just so beautiful and it's heartbreaking and very quiet and riveting performances from both of them. Things We Lost in the Fire should have been the type of role she's been receiving her whole career. Now, there's stuff that I think she did in the 90s that was great. Obviously, Boomerang. I really like Bullworth. I think that there's things that I like Babs a lot. There's things that we can celebrate about her career, but it should have been more than what it was. And it's not over. You know, she has the chops to continue to act and the skills to continue to act well into her 60s, 70s, 80s if she wants to, just like, you know, Sally Field or Jane Fonda or any of these other people. But she has to be given those opportunities to get these mini roles and sink her teeth into it and get with directors that are worth her caliber of acting. Well, I got real serious on Halle Berry. Don Cheadle. People just kind of know him as War Machine, but Don Cheadle is a actor. If you've never seen Hotel Rwanda and you want your heart just ripped out of your chest to learn about what happened in Rwanda between the Hutus and Tutsis, and that the genocide, and how this guy Paul Rusesabagina, I think is how you say his name, hid all these refugees in his hotel to try to get them to escape out the country, and traveling across the country and seeing these bodies upon bodies and not fearing for his life or trying to help humanity, right? And he was nominated for Oscar for this. I keep on going to the Oscars because it's the main awards everybody knows. Jamie Foxx won that year for Ray. As much as I love Ray, I think that Don Cheadle was better. I think that he was better than Hotel Rwanda. I think that was his year. The man can act. He knows what he's doing. Devil in a Blue Dress, another Spike Lee joint that came out in the 90s. Denzel Washington doesn't get outacted or outperformed or outclassed really ever. Don Cheadle did that in Devil in a Blue Dress. He was the most charismatic. He was brutal. He was scary. There was times he was kind of sympathetic. There were so many things going on with that character that he should have been recognized more than what he was. He was very young. All of them were pretty young at the time when Devil in the Blue Dress came out. It came out in '93. Really amazing performance. He also is in a movie, the Earl the Goat Metagoat story. Uh, what's the name of that film? It was also a straight to TV. I think it was an HBO movie. Let me look it up real quick. Rebound came out in 1996. Rebound, The Legend of Earl the Goat Metagoat, about a guy who should have been the next Jordan and end up getting into drugs, and his whole life passes him by, and now he basically takes care of Rutgers. At least that's what the story was in the film. Amazing performance. The man knows what he's doing, and he needs to be given his flowers. I know that he's roading. I know that he's the war machine. He can do more than that. He can do comedy, he can do action, he can do drama, he can do drama. So Don Cheadle was another person I wanted to recognize because I just don't think people know that side of Don Cheadle. Pam Grier, I've talked a lot about Pam Grier this month and what she's meant to cinema in terms of giving us a badass female who is in control of herself, both in terms of being an action star, knowing karate, she's a very physical actor, especially excuse me, especially in the '70s with movies like Coffee and Foxy Brown and the Foxy Brown sequels. I mean, she was, and even some of the stuff that she did was really bad. That was back in the, she shot some films in the Philippines where, she was basically there for eye candy. There's a lot of nudity and stuff, but she was kicking ass. She was still knew karate. She still was the toughest person on the yard, whatever you want to call it. And she revolutionized what we think of a female actor. There were so many people who knew that she was ahead of her time during the moment. Roger Ebert used to talk about her films all the time about how, she was just so charismatic and compelling on screen. The thing with Pam Grier is that all of her movies, these black exploitation films that she was in, they were not very well written. None of those films really, I mean, some of those films are really well written, some black exploitation. Her films were not. The films really were carried by the action and her physical presence. And I'm not talking about her, I mean, of course, it's her looks, of course, as well, but her physical presence in terms of the way that she carried herself and the way that she kicked ass. She was the female Shaft of that time. If you watch those movies, it's very hard not to see those parallels between Shaft and the Foxy Brown type of archetype character that Pam Grier played back then. Um, then she gets ignored by Hollywood pretty much all the 80s. Whatever. Hollywood was racist. Also, Hollywood sexist as you get older and some of that beauty starts to fade for actresses. You know, men can be salt and pepper daddies, whatever you guys call them, and all those types of things, but women don't get that same afford the same opportunity. It was messed up. Whatever. 90s come, Jackie Brown, written specifically with Pam Grier in mind by Quentin Tarantino, is her major comeback and her best performance of her career. Not just because she's badass again, because she is. She brings that physicality like she always does, but she had the best script and the best directing of her career with Quentin Tarantino. And Jackie Brown, along with the performances of Samuel Jackson's in this movie, Robert De Niro's in this movie, and all those performances are exceptional. It's really hard. I always go back and forth on what's my favorite Quentin Tarantino film. Jackie Brown's up there, Inglourious Basterds is up there. I really like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Pulp Fiction, of course, Reservoir Dogs, of course. But I always come back to Jackie. I'm like, I think Jackie Brown might be his best film. It may be Django. I know Django Unchained's up there for a lot of people. If you have not seen Jackie Brown, go see Jackie Brown and go see some of these other films and let me know what you think. Because I want to know if I'm off base there. I don't think I am. And a lot of that has to do with Pam Grier. So another career, a lot of the women I've talked about today, Angela Bassett, Whoopi Goldberg. I think Whoopi Goldberg, some of that was like her choice. She just didn't want to act anymore. And she wasn't getting the roles she wanted. Halle Berry should have been getting better roles. Pam Grier should have been getting better roles. Angela Bassett, we've talked about how she's been under uh, overlooked a lot of times. Viola Davis talked about this in many other interviews and in her book, how Black women are pushed to the sides of cinema. This is nothing new. I am glad I've been able to point out some films of theirs that really resonate with me, but there's so much stuff that you have to really dig for. You don't have to dig for a Gary Oldman film. You don't have to dig for. I'm naming people that are actually some of my favorite actors, but you don't have to dig for them. You don't have to. So anyway, love Pam Grier. Let me go to my last person, Forrest Whitaker. I absolutely love Forrest Whitaker. He is a treasure. He is someone I really want to see. The Godfather of Harlem. I think they're on season 3 or season 4 right now. Like I said, it's so hard for me to get into series because it's hard for me to commit that much time to series with how long it takes to edit these videos. I have to go see my films and got to write and all those types of things. But I really want to see Godfather of Harlem because every clip I see of it, he looks amazing in it as Bumpy Johnson. He's done one of my favorite Christmas films of all time, Jingle Jangle, which came out, I think, 3 years ago at this point. He is amazing, amazing in so many other films. The Butler, which the Butler's politics is kind of centrist, which is a little bit different than mine. I'm a little bit to the left of that, a little bit more progressive, but it's still a slice of life type of story that I can connect with. The Last King of Scotland, which is the story of Idi Amin. I've got a lot of biopics on this stream. Anyway, Last King of Scotland. This is what he won his Best Actor for. I don't think it's been seen as much as it should. James McAvoy also stars in this film. You can call them co-leads or James McAvoy slightly the supporting actor, but Forrest Whitaker transforms into Idi Amin, this bruising, towering dictator that has so many mental health issues you can tell wrong with him. He starts as a populist and then just turns into this dictator that is paranoid and kills people on a whim. And he put the fear of God in me in this performance. Like, I cannot imagine living under his regime. I just couldn't imagine being in Uganda when he was doing his thing. You know, it was just. And I know people whose families from Uganda. I never talked to him about this, but the Last King of Scotland is. I mean, Idi Amin was scary, and I think Forrest Whitaker brings that type of energy to that role, and his Oscar was definitely deserved. It was obvious to me that he was going to win that year that he won. A film that I love, and I don't think enough people see it because the title is stupid. It's a stupid title, and it you see Forrest Whitaker, a heavier man, kind of out of shape, playing this urban samurai called and his ghost dog, The Way of the Samurai. You immediately think not B level film, but C level film because it looks ridiculous. Then you get into the film, and it's like this own little world where Forrest Whitaker plays this character that is an assassin, and but he approaches his relationship with the person he's employed with like a samurai, like well, not a ronin because a ronin is a samurai without a master. He has a master that takes him out on missions, and he does those missions honorably. He communicates by pigeon. He's very stoic. He has his own set of rules and beliefs, and he's so believable, even though you think he's kind of nuts and insane the way that he acts in this modern day urban setting. But it reminds me of a couple of films that people love, and I think that this film, if you love these films, you'll love this too. If you love Leon the Professional, you would love Ghost Dog, The Way of the Samurai. It's the same type of world building, self contained type of story with assassins, and he doesn't. There's no little girl, obviously, or nobody he's taking care of. But you know, he has his friends. There's like this French like hot dog stand person. I'm trying to remember. I haven't seen it in a while. That doesn't even speak English, but they're just like have this connection. It's a really interesting film. The other film that I immediately think about is John Wick. If you like that self-contained lore of John Wick, you're going to like Ghost Dog. I promise. Check out Ghost Dog: The Way of the Samurai. I'm sure it's streaming somewhere for free. It's probably on YouTube for free. If not, it's gonna be worth the $1.99, $2.99 you pay to stream it on Amazon Prime. It's I have to think about it. It might be my second favorite Forrest Whitaker performance, and that's saying a lot. I mean, it's definitely a top 5 performance for me from this actor who is. Would it be safe to say that he's a top 5, top 10 black actor of the past 20, 25 years? I think so. I think that that's probably not even something we would debate, right? So check out The Last King of Scotland. Those are the 8 films that I want to talk of. The eight people I want to talk about. Thank you for everybody that's joining me. Is there any final comments before we get out of here? I love doing the Brian Knows Black film. I'm hoping to do, next month is Women's History Month. Maybe I'll do something with women's film. I don't know. I have to think about that and do some research. But thank you so much for joining me for the live stream. This is happening every Tuesday. Join me for See It, 5 p.m. Eastern. I promise I will have all my apps updated. We won't have those technical difficulties we had in the beginning. Next week, I will be doing my Oscar predictions. It's either going to be next week or the week after. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do it next week, though. So come back for that. We're going to have a lot of fun. Thank you so much. And let me see if there's any comments. No. Thank you so much. And I will see you next week.